This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm here in Bolton and joined by Liam Beefy Smith. Liam, firstly, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. You?
Yeah, I'm all good, thanks. Obviously, good to hear you doing well yourself. As I mentioned, we're here in Bolton. You're ticking over, back in the gym now. How does it feel to be back in there ahead of what I assume will be another busy 2020 for yourself?
Yeah, it's good to be back in. Obviously, we're all back in now. Everyone in the gym, and it's better to be in the gym when everyone's got fights coming up. Not everyone's got dates, but everyone knows they're going to be out in March, April, May. So everyone's back in, and there's a good buzz around the gym.
How difficult is this period where you know you're going to have a fight coming up soon? Obviously, you're waiting for confirmation as to who, etc. But how difficult is it to motivate yourself to come to the gym to keep ticking over whilst you wait for news?
You know what? It's not difficult to come to the gym. As in the gym, I can say that sometimes it's good to come to the gym even just to socialise. So I'll take over just to see all the lads and Tasha in the gym. But it's difficult to motivate yourself out of the gym, as in to not have that chocolate bar or not have them fizzy drinks. That's what the difficult part is. When you haven't got a date, it's difficult to eat well and stay disciplined, and that's the hard part about it. Coming to the gym, coming to work really, is enjoyable. I'd rather be coming to the gym to train than going to lay bricks in the cold. You know what I mean? And so coming to the gym's not so hard, but eating well is quite hard.
I know you've got Callum sat behind me, but when yourself, Paul and Stephen were all boxing officers with Callum as well, who was a cheater, who would go and maybe have that extra chocolate bar or something?
I think Beefy comes to mind for a reason. I think it was always me. I think me and Stephen are the for Paul now as well, but me and Stephen were always like the heavy two out of the four of us. We always, I think we lose like the most weight, so to speak. But obviously get a bit of momentum and a few fights, in succession. You don't really blow up after the fight, so it all depends on that.
Now, obviously, I know I saw you on Saturday briefly after the Kell Brook fight against DeLuca. I know you'd have been hounded by all the media outlets as well, so didn't want to keep it for too long. A bit more time to reflect on his performance against DeLuca. What are your thoughts now?
I thought he boxed well, taking everything into account. A long time out the ring, 14 months. Boxing a southpaw also is you can miss a lot. I thought the time started quite poor. Not poor, his time was off, and then after 2 rounds when he found his range, DeLuca. Once DeLuca's nose went, the writing was on the wall. I think you can say he was game, but it was just like a case of when. And I thought after 2 rounds, Brook started putting the shot together well. Looked kind of a little bit like his old self when he let them go. And I thought he boxed well.
How many weaknesses or what differences did you see in the Kell Brook that we saw there against somebody, the version of Sean Porter, for example?
It's not really. You can't take too much off that performance. What I'll slag him on would probably come down to, well, okay, I've been out the ring 14 months, so the things that I'd pick out could be that he's been out the ring a long time. You know what I mean? His time was off. That might mean he's been out the ring a long time, or it might mean he's not the fighter he was. So you could put it down to two things. But I don't think he looked the most comfortablest under pressure, which usually has been in the past. I think when DeLuca was going for him, he didn't really look as comfortable as he has looked in the past. He looked as if he didn't like getting. I don't know, one likes getting it. You know what I mean? But he looked uncomfortable when DeLuca was going for him. And DeLuca was not going for him that much. He was on the back foot the whole fight, really. And it weren't like a typical Kell Brook fight, as in Kell Brook just marched forward the whole fight. So, it started really to nitpick.
I know he's obviously there for a reason, because your name's being mentioned for the potential bout with Kell Brook. But where did this kind of stem from? When did you initially think, if I can't get a world title fight, let's get the Brook fight kind of negotiations going? Because I know when Kell was first talked about moving up to 154, your names were kind of bandied together. And when you signed with Matchroom, your names were bandied together. But you both kind of said you had other paths at that time. Why now? How come you kind of seen a potential bout between yourselves?
You know what? I've always thought, see the way Brook's chased Khan, I've always thought Brook's a big fight for me. And even when I was world champion with Frank Warren, I think Frank made an offer. All being said, I think Eddie said the offer was too low, but I wanted to fight him then, and I wanted to fight him then because he was a big name, and it would have put me a big name at that time. And he's gone up to 154 now. He flirted with 160. Obviously, it was only for the Golovkin chance, and people just automatically pit us together. It's no secret. I'm the number one at 154. He's moved up to 154. He was world champion at 147. So people are always going to compare and want to see that fight. People love a domestic dust-up, and without being big-headed, I do think Smith Brook is a big fight, and British fans definitely want to see it. So they're always gonna pit us both together. But now we're both in the same position, like I said before, and I thought Brook was a big fight for me and a big name. Now I think it's a little bit more a level playing field, as in like he's not getting Khan. We're both not getting a world title shot next or in the near distance. So I think a fight between us two makes a lot of sense at this stage.
Now, obviously, last week, at the beginning of the week, a little article with Sky broke, and you did an interview with somebody, and you said you didn't really feel like Kell had fulfilled the most of his potential, or didn't make the most of his career. What was the reasoning or the thinking behind that? Yeah,
obviously, things get put out, especially in writing. Things can be twisted, not twisted, but it doesn't really make sense. And what I said was, I feel I've got the beating of him. As in, once it gets tough, he's made a lot of money in his career. He's had. Whether he wants to carry on boxing or he's forcing himself to carry on boxing, I don't know. But I feel he's lost that fight when it gets tough. And whether he's lost that or whether I feel I'll have too much of that for him, I don't know what way I'm trying to push it. But that's what I meant by it. And it's hard to really get that out on an interview in words. And what I meant by the big fights was he's had plenty of chances for big fights. And why they haven't come off, I don't know. Like I said, he could have fought Crawford. He was mandatory for Jared Hurd at 154 and chose not to fight them fights. So that's what I said. He can't really blame anyone else for not having big fights because he's had the chances for big fights, and for one reason or another, he's chose not to fight them fights.
So no, it's been kind of spoken about for this past week or so, but have you had any discussions with Eddie or with Joe about what's going to be happening if the Brook fights there?
No, Eddie's been on to, I had a little brief conversation with Eddie in America, and I knew it could happen this year. Eddie Khan said, if I can't get his the fight I want, I'm going to match both these together. And I said, please do. I think he's been on to my management team, MTK, and he's discussed it before Kell's fight there, but obviously I'm not sure what's been said since Kell's fight. I'm not sure what Kell wants to do. It's no secret. I want that fight. I'm not getting a world title shot next. I think I'm probably going to be Teixeira's next mandatory if it stays the way it is now. But I couldn't say no to a Kell Brook fight in the meantime. So, people, I don't want it to become boring like Brook can. If it doesn't happen in the next 4 to 5 months, it won't happen at all. And that's what I mean by people are saying, you just need a world title on the line. So if I wait for the Teixeira chance, he's fighting his mandatory now, then he's got a voluntary, then he has to fight me, pace bids. Probably maybe fight me December, January, February. And then, all goes to plan. I beat Teixeira, then fight Brook May next year. Brook's 34, I'll be 32. People probably might want to see it then, you know what I mean? And people will probably be bored of the Smith Brook chant from now till May next year. So if it doesn't happen now, I think strike while the iron's hot, and people are talking about it now. So if it doesn't happen in the next few months, I probably won't happen.
What do you make of the current 154 world scene? Because nobody's really put their stamp on it of this past year or 2 years. The belts are kind of just being passed about between people. Nobody's able to hold on to them for more than just a couple of fights or a few fights. What do you make of it at the minute?
I think it's good. I think it's very competitive. I think it's there's no standout elite fighter now who's got everything and who no one can beat. And if you look around the top, like Hurd beat Harrison beat Charlo's then gonna beat Harrison in the rematch. Williams beat Hurd, Rosario beat Williams. They're all good fighters. None of them are special fighters who people will be, no, I'm not going near him, And I'm sure if you're offer, there'll probably be 10, 15 middleweights in the world who would take any of them champions now, in a heartbeat, there's no fights that can be avoided or would be avoided.
Just quickly work through the rest of the camp now, because I know you're going to want to shoot off because you'll be a busy man. Obviously, Callum sat behind us. Waiting for news. Canelo's been mentioned. Billy Joe's been mentioned. What's your knowledge of the situation?
I said for a while now, the same as everybody else's, and I think my knowledge is the same as Callum's at the moment. And all we're hearing, it's on Canelo. I've said that for years, and I remember getting told like, oh, that Eddie Hearn's the man, isn't he? Getting fielding Canelo, and I'm like, you're mad if you think really Eddie's got anything to do with it, because the buck stops with Canelo. I don't even think De La Hoya has much of a say. I think whoever Canelo wants to fight, De La Hoya and Golden Boy have got to go and make that fight. And so whatever Canelo decides, I presume it's going to be this week or next week, because I think May the 2nd is only 10-12 weeks away. So he's got to make his decision soon. And by all accounts, it's Callum or Billy Joe. It's the last we're hearing. So that's all I know.
Is it realistic that we could see Callum fight on May 2nd, or do you feel that it might have to happen later on in the year if he was to have the Canelo fight?
I think it's genuinely 50-50 whether he fights Canelo May 2nd or not. I don't know whether he fights in September. I'm hearing Golovkin's back in the running for September. Munguia's in the running for September. So I'm really not sure, but I think all the 160s are out the question. I don't think Canelo goes back to 160. I think it's too much on him now, but I think it's genuinely 50-50 whether Callum gets the May 2nd or not.
How easy was it for you to make the fight when you fought him?
How easy was the fight with me to me?
Yeah.
It was obviously, they wanted to fight me, and it was at that time, it was huge for me. So, I bit the hand off, and there's no questions asked.
Obviously, I know everyone's coming back in now, so we'll try and quickly wrap this up. Scott Quigg's back in camp now. What's it been like to have Scott back?
Good. Obviously, he was a good character before he left, and we missed him. We missed him when he left. But it's good to have back. He seemed like he's never really been gone, especially in and around all the lads. So it's good to have him back.
He's obviously getting ready to face John O'Carroll. What are your thoughts on that fight?
I think it's a good fight. Obviously, stylistically wise, I think it's a very, very entertaining fight. I was over in Spain when I think it was first getting talked about. I was sitting in a jacuzzi with John O'Carroll in a sauna, and just talking about it. It'd be a good fight for both of you. So it's one I'm looking forward to, even as a fan rather than a boxer. But obviously, good to have Quigg back in the gym, and me loyalty's live with Quigg.
And finally, next weekend, Wilder Fury 2, Liam. Just break it down for me. How do you see it going now?
I think obviously. I think Fury wins every second of every round, but if he can hit the final bell or not is a toss-up for me. I think Wilder punches, scary hard, and I think Fury was winning, and I hope he hits the final bell, because if he hits the final bell, he's world champion again.
Well, Liam, we'll leave it there now, because I know you're going to want to shut off, and everyone's just walked in. So I appreciate your time as always, and I'll catch up with you soon. Thanks, Speak to Boxing Social.
Sorry, mate. Thanks.